A sea of flames, the Great Fire of 1910. The summer of 1910 was brutally hot and dry in the American West. It was a tinderbox waiting to ignite. On August 20th, a spark, perhaps from a train or lightning, ignited a firestorm that would forever change how we view and manage wildfires. This was the Great Fire of 1910, a raging inferno that swept across eastern Washington, northern Idaho, and western Montana. This wasn't just a fire, it was a sea of flames consuming everything in its path. Towns vanished, landscapes were forever altered, and the sky rained ash for days on end. The magnitude of the disaster left an indelible mark on the national consciousness. It was a harsh lesson, a brutal awakening to the awesome power of nature. The Great Fire of 1910 became a turning point, forcing a paradigm shift in how the fledgling U.S. Forest Service would approach wildfire management. Inferno unleashed destruction and immediate response. The scale of the 1910 fire was almost unimaginable. It scorched over 3 million acres of land, an area larger than the state of Connecticut. Entire towns were reduced to ashes. Wallace, Idaho, a bustling hub, was nearly wiped off the map. The human cost was significant. At least 87 people, many of them firefighters, lost their lives battling the blaze. The firestorm created its own weather patterns, with hurricane-force winds fanning the flames and spreading embers far and wide. The U.S. Forest Service, barely 5 years old at the time, was ill-prepared for a disaster of this magnitude. The agency, led by Gifford Pinchot, was founded on the principle of conservation and efficient resource management. Fire, in this context, was seen as an enemy, a destructive force to be conquered. The immediate response was to throw everything at the blaze. Thousands of firefighters, many of them soldiers drafted from nearby military posts, were deployed to the front lines. The sheer scale of the fire, however, made it clear that a new approach was needed. The era of suppression. A necessary evil? The Great Fire of 1910 cast a long shadow over the U.S. Forest Service. It instilled a deep-seated belief in the agency that fire was the enemy, a threat to be extinguished at all costs. This philosophy, known as total fire suppression, became the guiding principle of wildfire management for decades to come. Every fire, regardless of its cause or potential ecological benefits, was to be put out as quickly as possible. New technologies and strategies were developed to combat the flames. Fire lookout towers were erected on mountaintops, connected by telephone lines to coordinate the response. Smokey Bear, the iconic symbol of wildfire prevention, became a household name. His message was clear: only you can prevent forest fires. While well-intentioned, the policy of total suppression had unintended consequences. Section 4. Battling the Blaze. Technology to the rescue. The decades following the Great Fire of 1910 saw significant advancements in firefighting technology. Hand tools gave way to bulldozers and other heavy machinery, capable of creating fire breaks to contain the spread of flames. Airplanes and helicopters were increasingly used to drop water and fire retardant on blazes. Sophisticated communication systems, from radios to satellite imagery, improved coordination and allowed for faster response times. The development of fire shelters, portable shields designed to protect firefighters from intense heat and flames, offered a last line of defense in dire situations. These technological advancements, while undoubtedly important in protecting lives and property, did not address the underlying issue: the accumulation of fuel in forests due to decades of fire suppression. This created a situation where wildfires, when they did occur, were often larger and more intense. Section 5. Shifting sands. From suppression to coexistence. By the 1970s, a new understanding of fire's role in forest ecosystems began to emerge. Scientists realized that fire was not just a destructive force, but a natural process, essential for maintaining healthy forests. Some species, like lodgepole pine, even rely on fire to reproduce. This realization led to a gradual shift in policy, away from total fire suppression towards a more nuanced approach that recognizes the ecological role of fire. Controlled burns, also known as prescribed burns, became a valuable tool for reducing fuel loads and mimicking the natural fire cycle. This shift in thinking is ongoing. Today, fire managers face the challenge of balancing the need to protect lives and property with the ecological benefits of fire. It's a complex equation, made even more challenging by climate change, which is increasing the frequency and intensity of wildfires.